Saving is your true earning. Good evening, everyone. I'm Astha Pandey, and a very warm welcome to all of you to our program, Importance of Saving Money from an Early Age. The habit of saving is itself an education. It fosters every virtue, teaches self-denial, cultivates the sense of order, and broadens the mind. Walking on the lines, we, the team of Education 10X, came up with this idea of spreading the awareness of significance of saving money from an early age through this webinar. Education 10X also took an initiative to build the world's first and only gamified online financial literacy program for students of age 8 to 16. Our program and curriculum content are scientifically designed by the alumni of top-notch business colleges of the world like IIM Calcutta, Harvard University, and NYU Stone. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce our guest for today, who will enlighten us about the absolute necessity of savings from an early age in these uncertain financial times. So we have amongst us Mr. Amit Khare, VP, Finance and Administration at Indian School, Wadi, Kabir, Muscat, Oman. While following a beautiful philosophy of life that says, think from the mind and work from the heart, he has experience in India and abroad at leadership positions for over a decade. He gave his valuable service in prestigious institutes like Pathways School, Noida, and the British School, New Delhi, as the head of finance. A very welcome to you, sir. Next, I would like to invite Mrs. Jaya Kapoor, PhD in marketing. Her professional journey has been truly successful. She started as a lecturer of finance at Agra University and taught maths to SAT students at Parks Education Center in the US, and now is a very important part of Education 10X. Also, she will be moderating today's session. It's an absolute honor to have you both amongst us. We are eagerly looking forward to hearing your discussion on this important topic. I would now like to request Jaya ma'am to begin this wonderful session by being the first speaker. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you. Please unmute yourself, ma'am.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Astha. Thank you so much. That was really a lot. So good evening, everyone. It has been such an honor to be a part of this wonderful event. And on behalf of Education 10X, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest, Mr. Amit Khare. But we are here to talk about something really important, actually importance of something which is very, very important. So we are here to talk about how important is saving at an early age. So I personally, it takes me back to the year when I worked as a center head in one of the preschools here in Bangalore called the Dunmore House. So we had children from all around the world, and religiously every morning they would come and meet me, or not morning, but over the weekend, if they come back, it was like they'll spend 5 minutes with me and before they go into the class. So, all of them, I would ask them, how was their weekend? All of them would probably tell me either they've gone to, to a birthday party, or they've gone to a mall, they bought this, they got this kind of a toys. They sometimes carry small little stuff in their hand also, what they got. Also, they would share that they've, shared stuff, they've done donations, all of that. But I still remember not even a single child telling me that I'm saving this money, or I'm doing this with my money, or anything like that. I don't remember anything like that, because I remember all the conversations. It's such an integral part of my journey over there as well. And now when I joined Education 10X and I started teaching financial literacy, here at Education 10X. I met a lot of children all across. And it really feels satisfying when parents come, during the PTMs, or we talk to them, they say that, our child is saving. Our child is doing this with the money that, you've been talking to them about that. Also, I would share this, one of my students from Dubai. So she is a small little entrepreneur. She makes jewelry and she actually sells it. So she saves money and she keeps that money. And now she's thinking what she's going to do with the money. So I personally feel that financial literacy is not given that importance, because I could relate back to the places that I worked earlier, which it should have been. It's actually considered to be a non-utility thing. Some parents even feel, why is this important? Why this knowledge should be given to the children? School do not give that much of importance because it's more about academics like math, science, English. But ultimately, isn't it all about money? Because it has to be there. They will all get it in their hand in their life. So why waiting longer to teach them about money? Why not start early? Because the earlier you teach them, the earlier they respect it. And it's definitely an inevitable factor in one's life. So I've seen parents, I've seen my elders in my neighborhood, they accumulate a lot of wealth. So they leave a significant amount of inheritance for the children. To bequeath it to the children, thinking, not knowing, not teaching them what they will do with it. And with this, I would share one of the quotes from Robert Kiyosaki, who says that money is not your real wealth. Your real wealth is how you manage your money. So even these parents made so much of sacrifices, and they save for 7 generations, but ultimately it's all pointless. Because if you give man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach man how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. So even today, there are families and parents who don't want to talk about wealth information with their children because they think either they will not work or they will not achieve their ambition. So with this, I really want Amit sir to share his views and tell us how important he feels saving should be at an early age. Amit sir, over to you.
Yeah, I hope I am audible.
Yes.
So yeah, great. That's first of all, a wonderful good evening to everyone. I am here in Muscat, Oman, and the weather is very nice here also. It is really getting, colder now. So to be, what we can say, a good experience here. So I can see the messages also coming from the various parent side or maybe the student side, that very true. And so that means we are at the right path at least. So we know that this is the need of the hour, and everyone wants to, be particular about this money concept. And fortunately, I'm a chartered accountant by profession, and I have been working in schools, in education sector, right from the British school in, Delhi, and then I was in Kenya, I was in Tanzania, now I'm in Oman, in the schools itself. So I have been, spending a lot of time with the young learners. And the way, the finance is being taught in the schools and classes, and I am also one of the, I could say the victim of that it's all theoretical. Maximum things were in theories, that, okay, this is finance, and a little bit of idea about finance, how the things will work. But when it is coming for real-time implementation, most of the concepts are not being followed by us. So that is the unfortunate part, actually, because theory is more stronger sometimes. But when we are coming to the practical, I think someone can check, Mr. Jasmine, I think there is not audible, but I think rest of them can hear me, yeah. I guess. So maybe you can just give a thumb or something, yes, on the chat box, so that our voice can be reached to most of the people. Okay, so now coming back to the first point, like what we are saying, why the saving part is important. So I would suggest it is not only for the kids, but for everyone. And because most of our population is from India, I think in this seminar also, I'm also from Delhi. So I would say that saving is not today's need, or it is a requirement of today's. It has been in the past also. When I was a child, so whenever pocket money is given to us, so our parents were expecting that, okay, we are not going to spend everything on the same day. Maybe we'll be saving something. And that was a good expectation from them. There is no doubt, because the saving potential is required. Not only for money, I would say in today's scenario, saving is required at each and every place, whether it is the natural resources, like we have been just learning that Sadhguru has visited all over. He visited Oman also for, the natural fertility of the earth, to, so that all things are required, because we are now in a consuming, scenario. We are all consumers. We want to consume everything, and that is all right, no doubt. But at the same time, saving is equally important. Not only for money, for every part of resources which we are using, because ultimately everything counts. And as a CA, like in finance department I am, so we normally say in our management meeting and all that finance department is one which is like a blood in the whole body. So everywhere finance is there, whether it is material thing or whether it's core finance or core money, money is everywhere. So like resources also, when we are not utilizing the resources to the fullest, that is also wastage, and that is also counting as a money. So I would rather extend it in two parts. One is saving, which Jaya Madam has rightly suggested that yes, saving is required, because without saving, we cannot go further. We cannot invest, because for investment, for anything, saving is required. A saving can be done in two ways, as per my experience. One is direct saving. Like suppose the young kids who are listening to me and who understand a bit of money, whatever pocket money is given to you. So maybe you can just resonate with that pocket money. So suppose your dad gave you 100 rupees, 100 bucks for spending. You went to a market and you just spent, say, 70 rupees or 80 rupees, and you saved 20 rupees for whatever reason. Maybe the cost was less, or maybe you negotiated well, or whatever reason, but you saved 20 rupees. So one thing is direct saving. What is the other way of saving? The other way of saving is this 20 rupees, how can I invest in, if my money can multiply to more money? Isn't it a way of more savings? It is actually adding to my kitty. So those lessons. So what I'm saying, that in theory, in schools or in college or in maybe our parents are teaching of the direct saving so far, if I am not wrong. The basic saving, obviously, okay, you are getting this, save this money, this is your money. But as a need of an hour today, we need to multiply this money also. So that multiplication of money is very much important. And being a finance person, so I am always working on how to, make multiplication of my money and to save for my company, to save for my organization, to save for the stakeholder. It is not only saving, but to investing on the right places. There are a lot of ways of investment. So maybe we can discuss as we go along. But yes, no doubt saving is very much required. And if at an early age we know this requirement of saving as a Bible, as our regular day routine, that saving is must, saving is required. So I think that would be much, much better for our future. So all young kids who are here and the parents who are there, they are really doing a great job in giving, the right education to their kids, that yes, saving is required. But now we'll be, as we go along with this talk, maybe Jaya Madam can moderate us to the right path, because sometimes we may, just confuse it our way. But the thing is that the ultimate requirement of saving is very much required. Yes, Jaya Madam, over to you.
Yes, Amit sir, truly said that it is, there are two ways that you can save. One is the direct saving that you teach the child, and the other way is like, to tell them what can they do with that money. So that's definitely a most important thing. We cannot miss that out. Be it young children, I am seeing at Education 10X, and I am teaching children who are in grade 4 and 5, and we are teaching them, these instruments in which to save. And they're easily absorbing it, right? We think that they're too young to absorb it, but that's not happening, because I'm right there seeing it happening in front of me. So, and as you said, the parents who are here right now, I'm 100% sure they're all into, letting their children save, having them know the importance, that's why they are here right now. So, yeah, a big clap for all of them. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, definitely. And yes, Amit sir, I totally agree with you. And with this, I extend this talk going forward on when you are talking about investments, it actually leads us to the next thing, which says that can savings secure your child's financial future? And you said, yes, this was something I was just about to bring out. And yes, saving does not just, like you said, it does not just secure a child's future, it secures everyone's future, right? So saving is important for everyone, sir. But only thing is that we need to know how to manage it, right? You know your money is kept there, but if you don't know how to manage it, let alone saving will not work, right? So we should know, like you said, investing our money wisely. Now, I personally know individuals who have I'll take a case of this person who has 2 children, who's done everything in life. He bought 2 houses for 2 children. He said, I've done enough. He did, he invested money for those children, okay, in banks, kept it in banks. And he's saying, I've done enough. So I asked him one of the days, okay, do you think it's all that you should be doing? And he said, yeah, I've done enough for my children. I'm like now on the path of retiring. So I said, okay, why not thinking about something else? So there are people, Amit sir, who are not thinking about venturing more than they could, right? So there are so many other things, like you said, your importance of investing in other securities. It could be funds, it could be mutual funds, it could be bonds, which I'm sure you'll let us know about as we move forward. And I also personally feel that locking your money into such non-liquid assets is not worth, I think it's the worst way of saving, just doing that. Because I've read this somewhere that Warren Buffett still live in the same house and drive the same car, which he's been doing it for 15 years. He still lives a single-story regular house in Nebraska, which he bought back in 1958. He says it's a waste of money to actually invest into that. I think he recently changed his car as well. And so basically, and we know he's the biggest investor. So where that all money going, that also we know. And not only that, the need of the hour is when I teach these young children, even at Education 10X, it's very important that they understand cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, digital currency, because knowing about this, because we don't know what future in store. Maybe in future they have to deal with just this only. Who knows it? We never knew that this is going to be a big part of our life, right? So I worked, Amit sir, I started working very early, probably at the age of 16, and gotten money just like the regular teaching in the neighborhood to children, and gotten some few money, from them, but never knowing what to do it. It just kind of vanished, right? Now I feel when I teach children about the power of compounding, how important it is, right? Albert Einstein once said that compound interest is 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. So keeping just 500 rupees aside a month is insignificant for us. It's like spending on a meal of 2 in McDonald's, right? Which is probably around 6,000 a year. But with power of compounding, if I save for my child at the age of 1, and if I'm looking forward to saving him for let's say just 18 years, it would have been much more with power of compounding. So if you look at the difference between accumulation of wealth, seeing when the child is just born and the rate of interest and what it compounds to by the age of 8, you'll be surprised to know the amount. So we don't need actually a lot of money to invest. We can start with as little. But Amit sir, with this, I really want you to share your thoughts on what do you think, can saving secure a child's financial future?
Yeah, 100%. I would say 100%. And there is a reason for that. And the whole concept, what you have saw, the compounding power of compounding. So as I told that what happened in the regular studies, what we have been, and though there are a lot of reforms have been done for education, and the current NEP is under process. So a lot of the new things have been introduced in the education line. So I'm just sticking to the education line. I'm not going completely to financial, because I think most of them are the students, young learners, so you should know how they can inculcate these habits in their life through education itself. So compounding, power of compounding, whatever, but when I was a young child and I read it in my mathematics and other things. So, it was like a formula for me, that's it. There was no real-time methodology given to us and how to, practically do it. So, and you won't believe, after doing my BCom honors, and I started teaching also to the 12th graders and 11th graders accounts and, maths and all. Then I got to know, okay, this is compounding. Then when I am coming to finally the practical life scenario, then I started using it. So it is too late for some time. And for most of us, it is too late. So now the time for the young kids to understand compounding, because compounding, again, I'm saying, is not only financial part of compounding, it is applicable to all the scenarios, including money. Like networking. Right now, you would have heard about networking. A lot of networking is going on. Though networking is in a positive side also, in negative side also. We are not going into that particular part. But networking means what one person can do, what the nuclear effect. So 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8. So this kind of compounding is, and you won't believe, as you said, the 500 bucks only saving 1 month maybe will give you crores sometime.
Exactly. Exactly.
When it is only 500 bucks, which is we usually spend like anything. We never even saw, we never even bargained, we never even thought of spending that money. But when we save it systematically, like SIP is a great example right now.
Right.
Second thing also, what I will suggest that it is not only the financial planning, what is been taught or what we are learning through different channels. Maybe Educated 10x, I would simply clap for Education 10x, because I had attended a few of the sessions. As my kids were there, I just joined them and I was hearing what the teacher is telling. Though I know everything, but I was just, and then I came to know, and this is really impacting. And you won't believe that the small lessons which you people are delivering to the kids, it is giving a lot of roadmaps to them. So compounding, leverage impact, a lot of things are there which actually in general we don't know. Even in finance background people also, they also sometimes if they are not in the same platform for for longer, they don't understand these things. So the thing is that this is really required. So sometimes what we have to understand that leverage impact, the compounding impact is very much required. But like I have worked in different countries, so it is not always a saving in the bank. Saving in the bank sometimes is not giving you any single buck. Like here in Oman, like in Africa, like in US, the banks are not giving any interest on savings.
Exactly.
Only India is giving, or some of the countries are giving. So if we simply say, like you have given one example of that he has done with, okay, he made some property, something or some maybe FD is been done and is done. So I would say that it is not completely done. It is done to a certain extent, but there is requirement of more leverage impact, because we never know when the policies are getting changed. You won't be believing that earlier, I think in early 90s or 20s, the FD rates were 8%, 9% sometimes. Now, almost like a saving bank interest 6%, near to 4 to 6%. So that means to say these reforms are going to be there. And we never know that in future, all saving interest will be just slashed down. So we cannot depend on savings only in the form of saving bank interest. It is just a saving, security would be there, because keeping money in home and keeping money in bank is more safer, but it won't give you any leverage impact. So there are certain aspects we need to learn about saving. So for child's future in saving, as a parent, if I'm doing some savings for my children and I'm trying my children to understand how the saving, potentials to be further to be, impacted, then they should know that leverage impact is very much important. Compounding is very much important. There are certain what we can instruments available in the market. How to assess those instruments? It is not a simple thing that, okay, this SIP came, just invest on that SIP. Ultimately, mutual fund, if you see the bottom line, it is always risky. Even mutual funds are risky. But yes, they are not risky as much the shares are. But if wisely investment is done, if the investments are done wisely by proper assessing the shares or proper assessing the mutual funds company and their corpus and their past records, then you can do. But if you are not assessing that, then you won't be able to do. So that assessment actually is the key. So saving only is not the key. The key is to understand the concepts of saving and making the real, interest out of that. So I think that way the young kids need to learn a lot. So though it is more complicated way, but maybe this is what I think 10x or some other organization, they are doing it to simplifying the thing. Because I'm a financial person, I'm a co-finance person. Maybe sometimes it is a lot of, things will come which will not be impacting as a simpler way, but just simply make it simple. But these are all things required. So future saving is not only dependent on bank saving, it is requiring more ideas, more assessment, more knowledge about how money works. It's not simply investment, it is also how the other person work for our money. Then only we are going to get the returns. Like Warren Buffett or whoever, they're saying the truth, because they know, they have assessed the market in a very true sense. That's why he's saying, like, we are all normally we are saying what is rental versus purchase. Both have their own pros and cons. It is not only purchase will always be giving a bad financials, but it is not always a rental will be giving a bad finances. Both have their own merits and demerits. So both things we need to understand also as we go forward and as we learn. These both things are required. So when I am saying, like in India, if it is an Indian scenario, Even purchase sometimes help us because the taxation is very high. If suppose I'm a good earning person and my slab is more than 30% somewhere, that is always advisable to get some home loan, get some reduction in that. Then you are making your property. Maybe you can rent it or some whatever like that. So their investment in own purchasing is good. But somewhere it is rental also. When you are at a lower segment income, you cannot afford much of the EMI, but you want to take on the leverage, you can have a rented house so that you can get HRA deduction. So there are a lot of things happening. But in other countries like here, is no financial, taxation impact here. It's a tax-free country. There is no tax leverage. So when tax leverage is there, you need to think otherwise. So the idea is that our kids, our learners should know and should understand all the concept in a very simpler way, so that they can keep and they can start working with their mind. Like I am quoting that I think from my mind, I work from my heart. So ultimately, heart is important, no doubt.
Right.
Whatever money is there, this is all emotions. Emotions are very much important. But with emotions, if we apply our intelligence, see the results. It is really going to good, giving you good impact on their finances. So that is, I think this is really required for future of all the young kids and the old, up to the age of 20 years now. You can see a lot of articles are coming when people at the age of 16, like you also said that at the 16 years you started working. So there are people who started working at earlier age. When I started working, not as a corporate, but when I was in BCom honors, I started teaching, 12th and 10th grader. So when I started earning money, and that gives a very much, satisfaction that, okay, I am earning and there was no expenses for me. But at that time, if I would have got those knowledge that, okay, I can invest in some investments or savings, instruments, something, I would have earned something, but I did not do that. But at that time, it was like, okay, coming, it is like it is a second pocket money.
Right.
We are spending. So I think another thing is that saving is required. Like we need to understand that, okay, everything is not for spending. There are certain parts. So as in scientific terms and in finance terms, we say that whatever, like we are getting 100% something, that at least 50% we need to divide first. The 50% would be for your regular expenditure. The other 50% would be now divided into long-term, short-term, and mid-term spending. So that planning is very much important. Even if it is $100 or is 1,000 or is 100,000. So it doesn't matter. If you have the basic potentials of saving and investing in, in instrument, if you have the knowledge, you can make it. Even $100, you can make it 1,000 to 100. That is what I say to everyone.
So truly said, Amit sir, that your 100 can become 1,000 and much more than that. And I think all our viewers are actually, they're just like, when you are talking, it's like, it's like bombarding with very true. So they all agree to what you are saying. So that is, that is something I totally agree with, that, our young learners should be taught this thing. And like you said, bring it to their level. And we think that they are not able to, but they're much more capable than that. Yeah. So it's all about providing them the opportunity at the right time, and the right time is now.
I would add one thing only. I would add one thing. I have 3 daughters. I'm blessed with 3 daughters. Elder one are twins. They are into AS level, and the younger one is 5th grade. Okay. So what I'm saying that when you give them authority plus accountability, this is very much required for all the parents. It is my request. When you are giving something to your kids, just trust on them. Keep the trust alive, whatever they are doing, because we also did blunders at our time. So we cannot accept that our kids will not do. They will do. But give them that space. Give them that space with a clear-cut accountability. Accountability is something which is very important. Let them feel that, okay, this is money. This is my money. Let me use it wisely. So that concept of using wisely, like it is required for all the kids. Give them authority to do it. Let them make some mistakes also. Exactly. Let them come up with their own thoughts, and then you see the differences. Exactly. Because at the same time, we cannot ask and we cannot say, as being parent, I am actually feeling those things when we are saying, okay, I don't have money for this particular thing. They are not saying something, but they are actually getting something in mind. Okay, money is not there. They are getting into stress. Don't say that I don't have money. Say I have money, but let me use it for this 5%. If we use it for this, and if we use it for this, the cost-benefit analysis, which I am always teaching to my all young learners. Cost-benefit analysis is very important. Right. If you can do cost-benefit analysis, benefit is more spending. Don't mind. Don't even bother why you are. but if benefits are less, cost is more, think twice. So that kind of education is required to be given to the young learners, and I am sure they will do wonders. They are more intelligent than us. If you see the generation gap, it's a really generation gap. A 5 years old child now can operate iPad, can operate mobiles, everything. And at our time, we don't even know how to say namaste to our guests sometimes. So they can manage the
we fumbled, right?
Yes,
and
yes,
we just kind of hid behind the wall, right? Somebody's come, and the parents used to come and say, okay, you know what, this uncle has come on, say yes to them. And right now they are like, they are the ones who are like everywhere. So
they can manage the whole show. They can manage the whole show. That is very true. So I think they are really great learners. The only thing is that directions. We need to provide them the direction with clear-cut path. Let them do with accountability.
Right. Definitely, sir. Thank you for enlightening us and all of us, I mean, on this particular thing where we know that a lot of us are here who have young learners, young children at home. And this will definitely put a very positive this thing in all the parents that, let's go ahead and let them take risk. Let's go ahead and let them, take the learning forward. And definitely, even if they make little mistake, it's absolutely fine, because you learn from your mistakes. The biggest learning is your mistake, right?
Yes.
So,
very good.
So, sir, there's another thing that I mean, this is just wonderful, but there's so many things that, and there's so many things right now coming in my head also. I have our viewers actually writing so many questions. We will just give them a chance after this. But then, should saving be made a topic as a part of school curriculum is something that always lingered my mind, right? And since I have worked in many schools, right? Not just here, outside also. And again, when I joined Education 10X, I look at my journey elsewhere also. I was the one who ever actually spoke to them about this? No, I did not. I worked as a teacher also in the last school in Bangalore itself. But there were so many other things that we did. There were so many other unstructured things. I gave children the agency to actually take ownership of their learning, where we were just the facilitator. But I don't remember teaching them anything about this, right? Now, I personally feel that, yes, this should be taught in a category of life skill. A lot of parents think that should we be talking to our children about money at young age? And now also, when I meet some parents, they tell me, wouldn't it be too much talking to our children about money? Wouldn't it they go into their head? I would definitely say that wanting money is not wrong. Craving for money is not wrong unless you become, it becomes unethical. You are material, you are wanting money, you are earning money, you're not materialistic, you're not greedy, you're not power hungry. It's a basic need, and there's no shame in telling about that, right? Or even saying that I want my wealth to grow. But yeah, when it becomes unethical or when it becomes your obsession, then definitely it is something which is to think about. But right now, we all need money to live comfortably. Even if I have to help someone, I need money. If I want to live at a free will and exercise, whatever I want to do, even if right now I want to take a sabbatical, I need money. And this freedom can only be given to me with money. So if I have a talent in a subject and I don't go to work, it's my fault. And tomorrow, if I haven't made any money, that will also be my fault. So it's very important that children should be taught in school, though in a very objective fashion, about money. And then it could be a holistic education, right? It could be a part of everything kind of intervened together. But one thing is what I've seen, some parents are not able to teach their children at home. Some of them are not equipped. Some of them don't have proper knowledge or expertise on talking to them about same. Hence, I think schools should take up this ownership of putting this as a part of the curriculum, and they should definitely take it up, something like this. What do you feel, Amit sir, on that?
Not only me, even I think the whole audience present here would think the same. Reason being that this is required. This is required. And as you know, when sometimes like in education sector, sometimes parents are coming with some complaints and this and that the child is not doing good in academics at all. So then sometimes we are saying, sir, don't teach at home. We request them, don't teach at home. Let it be with the professional, knowledgeable teachers. And so you can guide them. You can guide them, no doubt. every parent is a teacher. And we are fortunate, especially in India, like Guru Devo Bhav, and our parents are like Guru. So that is there, but there is a limitations to everything. You know, when you are giving a direction, there are two ways. One is conceptual direction, one is practical direction in a structured format. That conceptual direction is always coming from parents, no doubt. But when it is coming to structured format, it is always on the teachers. So I'm really fortunate that I have been working in schools, and I really salute to all those teachers who have been, spending their valuable time for all the, kids and learners, even during Corona time, like online classes were there. So that means to say the right thing is that whatever is being professionally required, let it be handled by professionals. Some sort of guidance is there. So in that scenario, if we go, further on this, to add in the curriculum, I am agreeing on it. I give my 100% agreement to that yes, it is required to be part of curriculum. And because, as I told you, that new NEP and all things are coming, a lot of reformings are going on, and hopefully this kind of curriculum could be added over there. But in the meantime, like your organization, as I suggested, some other organization is doing, sometimes we also, as a motivational trainer or something like in financial, we are also inculcating that knowledge. So that knowledge is must. So if suppose it is my suggestion to everyone, if that is not there, suppose if there what we can say, structured form of education is not there, till that time this kind of education is required, maybe through parent, maybe through some other partners, but that is 100% required. And a professional teaching is very much required, as I said, because what happens sometimes, if we are not giving a right direction, then the education which we are giving, maybe our intention is correct, but it may not be taken in the right way.
Exactly.
Kids are very sophisticated people. Whatever is being there once, it will be remaining for longer.
Absolutely.
The right education is very much required, what I would say. So
absolutely.
It should be in a right form. Yeah.
Right. I totally agree with you, sir, that education should be given. Parent is a teacher. Every parent is a teacher, but then providing it with an expertise will be more beneficial, because it should not later harm the child. You should not get into a negative thing, rather than providing a positive direction. So Amit sir, thank you so much for enlightening us with such wonderful instances and comments and your thoughts on this, something which is really important, and which is something, even I, as a teacher right now, think about, right? I am teaching children who are young, of different age group, but these things, right, sometimes, again, I reflect back. After my teaching, I reflect back on my journey, or I think on these things, and I still have this thing, my questions going on. But now when I heard it from, an experienced person like you, I would say, okay, now I have got it all. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. It was just so amazing. So now what I am going to do is I will open, sir, a lot of questions coming from the audience for you.
Yeah,
I have to now open. Yes. Yeah, I have to now open it for them. So I will just have some questions for you. Let's pick up. This was being asked that, sir, is it good to teach about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin to children? Is it okay? Isn't it a little risky or things like that? What do you say, Amit sir?
Yeah. No, this is a very, burning question at the moment. And I can see most of the parents have written over there in the chat box that is required. So, see, this is a new concept altogether, no doubt. But whenever a new concept comes, it is always coming with merits and demerits. Everywhere, anything which is coming is having their merits also and having their demerits also. Right. It's us who need to assess and evaluate. That is where this financial education is more important. Because general education, academic education will not give you that vision of assessing those kind of scenarios. So like this Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, whatever is coming, these are actually a new concept going on. There are a lot of merits and demerits. You can, even if you Google it, you will get a lot of articles on that. So what I would suggest and what I would say, maybe you have to do your research also on, but this is not completely 100%. We should not say that this is not good. It is good. It may be, in future, it may come up as a very good, what we can say, mode of money exchange and all. However, at the same time, because now digitization is there, I'm just giving you one simple example, ma'am. Now, right now, we are on Zoom. We are on Zoom. And I think this is what we can say, we all are blessed that we have got Zoom.
Absolutely.
Aren't we thinking about it like, oh, Zoom or maybe Google or something, some other platform like that? These are like, oh, we are blessed because it saved us during this Corona time. But before, just go maybe 2 years or 3 years back, what was the condition of Zoom? It was never taken in that spirit. Because Zoom was running in losses, I hope. Because nobody is preferring. They are giving free, lot of free things are there. Now they are charging a hefty premium. And we are still, registering for those payment of those premium. So what happens? We cannot say maybe 2 years, 3 years back, what was our understanding about digital platform. And now this is a big change.
Right.
Let us wait and watch. Let us wait and watch for cryptocurrency and bitcoins. They have their future, no doubt. But yes, a right form is required. A lot of controllership is required. Like in India, they have given some, what we can say, guidelines for that. So a lot of countries are giving guidelines for them because whatever is coming, it may have their demerits. So the purpose of all the agencies working in a, what we can say, in a fruitful result of these kind of updates, that there should be some regulation should be there. There should be some guidelines. There should be some controlship. So once these are things designed in a proper way, I hope this is having a very good future, no doubt at all.
Right, sir. Agreed. So you're saying just wait and watch and go bit by bit, right?
Yes.
So so with this, sir, there's another question that's quite interesting. If included in school curriculum, there's a risk of subject turning into just a theoretical subject like history or political science. How do we handle this situation, Amit sir?
Yeah, very, very true, very true. Because as I was about to say, when access of everything is, difficult, it's not good. Whatever is, whether it's money also, if you have excessive money with you, that is also not good.
Right.
So access of everything is bad. So when adding to these subjects or adding to other subjects, adding, the young learners may not feel more involvement with those subjects. All subjects are important, marks are important, results are important. So if suppose we are adding one of this theoretical subject, then it will be adding to their kitty in a different way. So what my suggestion would be there, like we have got some happiness classes in the school. It's my suggestion only. I'm not saying whether how it will be working, but I can think of like happiness classes are going on. It is also a curriculum, part of curriculum. And I think people are taking it very positively.
Right.
Happiness classes, CBSE and whatever. So whatever way it is going in. So I think this should not be, I would suggest this, let it not be a subject as such for academic results only. Let it be a practical implementation of those aspects. Maybe it can be added in maths, it can be added in history, it can be added in science also, whatever subject you want to add, but let it be added and let the curriculum to be designed so that it can give you an idea how money system works. Money is an object, but system is like I said, saving is not only for money, saving may be for our great earth also, saving for greenery also, saving for our climate also. Are you getting my point? So saving and investing, how you invest when you are having more oxygen generated or saved, it may be used for other medical treatments. So, it is also the same way we can teach about money also. What I am thinking, if I would get a chance to add on to the curriculum, I can be a speaker, maybe I can contribute on that. So I would suggest that let it be included in a way of small parts in different subjects, teaching in line with money. What is the money concept? Because concept of money is important. Saving and everything is the next step. Like leverage impact is we want to see. So leverage impact can also be shown in other way. How the leverage, how the equity works, how this. So let it be small, what we can syllabus kind of things, not a complete full-fledged. Because as I told you, being a finance person, if you are also finance person, I'm also, maybe some of the parents are also finance person, they might understand what we are discussing right now. Maybe the young kids are not able to understand that. So maybe in that way, we need to design a curriculum, but it is really needed.
And so when you said that integrate it, I totally agree with it. And I also can relate to it. Like you're saying, saving is not just about money. You save resources, you save environment, you save so many different things. So when I teach science to a child, I can teach how to save over there. And this can definitely be interrelated to what they're doing in maths. This can again be interrelated to history, which date back to how people used to save, how barter system started. So it's again something which is, coming in together, putting everything together, interrelating it, and bringing all subject in together, being while definitely money will form an integral part at the end, right? So Amit sir, thank you for sharing your thoughts on this wonderful question. And I have another one from a parent who's been, Mr. Gurdas Singh, has been actually writing, saying that some parents do not like to share about money with their children. So this is something I also told, and I know some of the parents, that's why I brought this up here. What do you have to say on this, Amit sir?
Though I have already, said this in one of our earlier discussion, I'm just repeating it again, as I have 3 daughters. Whenever, if I want to say that, okay, money or whatever, it is very expensive, we should not do this, that. So there are a lot of ways to say. We cannot say directly to our kids. That is true. I am 100% with this parent that he has got a right thought. Because we cannot say everything with the children because they have their different emotions. It's all emotions, nothing else. It's all different emotions. Oh, my dad is not having money. His salary is low. He's doing this. My other child is having, the peer pressure is a lot. Like he got this particular iPad or something. My dad is not able to, manage this for me or something like that. So we need to be very, very, very sensitive and very, very, articulated when we are discussing, when we are sharing this with our children. So that depends on the parents and the child maturity levels. So there are a lot of ways we need to really learn on those aspects. But yes, at the same time, what I used to say, I'm giving them examples. It is not me. If it is I directly me, I don't have money, that will impact the child directly. Oh, my father doesn't have money. But when we give him example that, okay, see, if suppose you are a person or whose father's income is low, how would you react with that situation? Whether you will be demanding that, then they will say, no, we'll see. Just give them scope, what I'm saying, and what you also suggested, ma'am. Give them scope to come up with solution. Don't give them solutions. Let them come up with solution. Then we just make that happen, and that will be happening with their involvement. They will be finding accountability about their decision. So I think that way we can really share this with our kids.
Right. And there's another question that is from Miss Nisha. She's asking, should parents share tips with kids on how well to save at home? I think you've already told that, right? It's basically share little stuff with them and not very complicated, but make it little simplified, give them examples, and probably, you can share something at home with them. What do you say, sir? I think, is that all?
No, same. Yes. This is all. And this is the way only we are left with for young kids. The moment their maturity level increases, then we can obviously share with other aspects of it. But to start with, it is, I think, giving the examples, right stories, something like that. Or maybe we can refer our past stories also. Why not? We are also, struggled with those things, or we have come up with those things. It is good when the realistic stories are shared. It is more impactful than any articulated story sometimes. Yeah.
Right. And we enjoy that. I remember, I've been told so many stories, be it my grandma, be it in my school, be it one of my best teachers. They share so many stories which are so real, right? And that is something you never forget, actually. It just kind of stays in your head. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
So there's last question from Amber. How can you determine the risk of an investment? I think she's written a couple of times. So yeah.
Yes. No, very, very, very question, ma'am. As I told earlier also, that there is assessment required. Risk, there are 2 kinds of risk, actually, calculative and market risk also. So sometimes calculative risk we can calculate on the basis of whatever financial data has been provided, everything is there. But sometimes it depends on market scenarios. We never know what will happen tomorrow. So the right aspect, which we have also learned while I was doing financial accounting and all, there is a Zodon's theory like in share markets. So now I'm just giving an example only, but there are a lot of other theories, a lot of other aspects available. We need to just implement in our real life. So while doing it, whenever you are investing, there are certain risky investments, certain less or moderate risk. So like mutual fund is moderate risk investment, though it is also risky. And the other one, what is that? Share market, that is more risk oriented. Depends on our caliber. But I would suggest that whenever you invest partly. Don't invest 100% in one format. 100% in mutual fund will get a return very slow impact. Will be there, but very slow, which you are not expecting. If you are 100% investing on share market or some other risky investment field, then there might be chance of losing money also. So always do 50-50. This is a simpler way, 50-50. And when you are earning something, again, divide that the surplus also 50-50. This is the basic fundamental. Okay. Whatever you are getting, divide it 50-50. If suppose there is a loss, then again, restructure your investment 50-50. Sure. That is the very basic. It is not the complete theory, but this is the very basic thing. So assessing risk by, going for financial markets, there are a lot of, platforms available for assessing a share or assessing an investment. And they are quite, they are genius people who are behind that. When they are giving some tips, when they are giving some, but you need to be very thoughtful whom you are listening to. Exactly. That is our own intention. There are a lot of material available. What is best suiting to our requirement, that what we need to assess, and that assessment really need financial education. That is really absolutely. Without financial education, yeah, you can't. It will be risk again. Right. So that way. It actually zeroes down to the same thing, and yes. That financial literacy is very important. And earlier you do it, the better it is. Yeah. Definitely. Thank you so much, Amit sir, for sharing your wonderful thoughts and actually answering all the questions from the audience. That was so nice. It is actually an immense pleasure to share this same space with such an outstanding personality like you, sir. And thank you, Education 10X, for giving me this opportunity to do it today. And it was truly a wonderful experience for me. I would just hand it over to Astha now. Astha, over to you.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for giving your valuable time. It was a sheer pleasure and a privilege to hear about such a significant topic straight from masters like you. We sincerely hope that it will, help people across the world to develop a new and fresh mindset, which will eventually result into their happy and secure financial life. We are truly grateful to you all. And with this, we come to the end of today's program. We hope it was as informative and enjoyable for you all as it has been for all of us. Signing off, lots of best wishes from the entire team of Education 10X. Good night.
Thank you.